Welcome to episode 66 of Rebirth Revolution. My name is Melissa Olson. I hope your week is going well. It's been full of news, for sure. I'm personally appreciative that Twitter is back to making me laugh in the morning. I much prefer starting my day out being delighted by the human condition rather than being reminded daily of how horrifying the choices of some can be. But it all counts, all that which delights and horrifies. One of the many lessons that is playing out in front of us right now is the lesson that we need to drop our belief that one person or a group of people can save us. It is not how the system works. When I talk about the system, I am referring to the branch of science that is generally referred to as spirituality. Spirituality is no different from other branches of science. It has rules and predictable outcomes to the same degree as biology, chemistry, and physics. All of these branches are the study of the thinking of the Creator and this system that has been created. To understand this, you will have to let go of the mental image of an old man with a long beard who meddles in our lives. First off, the Creator would not be a man, as being male is a subset of being a human. The Creator wouldn't even be human. There would be no reason to have those limitations. Here's one way of thinking about it. Think of ordering a shirt online. When you are on a website buying a shirt, you will have a series of drop-down boxes where you can indicate a number of different things. You may click on blue as the color you want. You will click on the size of the shirt you want. You will choose the gender for whom the shirt is designed. You may click on the length of sleeve that you need. All of the choices you make will define the shirt. This is similar to what you do when you choose to come to this school. You choose all of your descriptors. The Creator would never be limited to the color blue. The Creator is not a size or a gender either. Those are all limiting concepts. The Creator is more like the internet that facilitates the choices. It is the formless, shapeless energy behind your ability to make choices. It's a human desire to outsource some of the things that happen in our curriculum to someone else. God must have wanted that. The devil made me do it. While there are forces of light and darkness, there is no entity who is meddling with your outcomes. Those outcomes are the natural, predictable responses to the choices you make. So millions of people voted in an election, and those who received the fewer votes are saying and praying that God will fix this and keep the loser in power. The system does not include a clause that the Creator can overturn the free will of the students. Time to let that one go. We are here to save ourselves. Sorry, but that's how the system works. The way the system works is that you are here in this school with all the other students, all here to learn the lessons you were ready to learn. No one came here as the ultimate superhero who can make everything right. We are just a collection of human beings who are at different levels of spiritual awareness, and we are all subject to the same trajectory of learning and all subject to the same human frailties. It is time for us to release the assumption that anyone is perfect or that anyone has it all figured out. No one does. Our understanding has evolved past the point in history when actors in movies wore either a white hat or a black hat, so you knew who was all good and who was all bad. There is no one walking the earth, no one in this school, who is all of one and none of the other. We all stumble around with our varying shades of gray hats on, just trying to do what we think will work out for us. In the lower levels of spiritual awareness, the things you think will work out for you happen to be things like extreme wealth, unlimited sex partners, unfettered power, and all the toys that would make others see you as successful. In the higher grade levels of spiritual awareness, you want peace, wisdom, and love. You have already figured out that the other obsessions do not make you feel any better about yourself or give you the peace, love, or wisdom. You realize that because you already learned the lessons that others are still struggling with. You did think that once, but you have learned that it just is not true. You do not seek power over others because you realize what parts of the lesson belong to you and what parts belong to others. We all have to save ourselves. Within the country I live in, we are attempting the experiment of democracy. We want to elect representatives who see things the way we do. The winners are those who get the most votes. Let's not dig into the Electoral College right now, because that is its own mess. So anyway, we students in this school, as we begin to shift and grow to higher levels, want to elect people who represent that growth. But what may seem clear and necessary to us may sound insane to those at lower levels. To those who are working at lower levels, who have lost their power, consider their very human struggle with that news. They are still struggling with the human weaknesses we have baked into us, the weaknesses that have been called the 7 deadly sins. Envy. Imagine the envy one feels when someone else gets more votes. Gluttony. They have been gorging themselves on privilege and limited checks and balances. These 2 traps must now be forfeited. Greed. Where will they ever be able to make deals that will bring them more money? Lust. The sexual currency that comes with being a winner soon dissipates. Pride. Of course it hurts their pride to be on the losing side. Sloth. Now they will actually have to go out there and drum up a new way to make money and stay relevant. Wrath. We are all seeing that now. They are furious and want to punish others for everything that they are feeling. It's just being a human who did not have things go the way they wanted them to go. A person or people who are at the lower levels of spiritual awareness would use the opportunity to serve others as a way to feed their basest instincts. They would wring out of it everything they think will make them feel better and love themselves more. The fall from status would be extremely painful because they still think they need all of the wrong things. All the reactions to the loss will be much more excessive and possibly even violent because they still don't know any better. When any of us do not get our way, we have to touch base with the 7 deadly sins. But at higher levels of spiritual awareness, you would respond differently because you weren't using the opportunity to cash in on your basest instincts. At the higher levels, you would be more in touch with that opportunity being about serving others, not yourself. But swirling around every political opportunity, or any opportunity to lead, are people who are at the lower levels of spiritual awareness, the ones who are still driven to swindle and con people. When you are in a position of power, there are people who come out of the woodwork to try to tempt you with all the experiences that a lower level person would crave. We are complicit in the bad outcomes to the degree that we grant people status, which is a way of saying that the rules of the system no longer apply to them. That is the worst thing you can do to people. It almost assures their failure. Once you grant the status of fame, fortune, or power to a mere mortal, you can start the countdown to their fall from grace. We do everything we can to set up their fall. Once you take away the guardrails of accountability, you doom a person. Since one of the rules of the system is that in all things there must be opposition, when you bring light into the world, the darkness will seek you out. You can bet your bottom dollar on that. The more light you bring, the more darkness you will experience. In the departing administration, there was an unprecedented amount of darkness that was brought into play. The opposition came in the form of those who stood in lines for hours to reject that darkness and meet it with light. The darkness never thinks that the light is as powerful, but it is because we are all hardwired to move in that direction. It just takes some souls longer than others, but it is our trajectory. That may be hard to accept when you read the daily news, but I think my love of old movies helps me remember that things that were acceptable less than a century ago would never be acceptable now. We just need to remember that some things take many generations to wash out. So the election ended up with a person who wants to bring more light being given the position of power. This was the will of more people than those who chose to remain in the darkness. But don't get too excited. The new administration cannot save us either. We have to save ourselves. The new administration will try to do things that move us closer to the light, but they cannot do it without massive growth on the part of those they represent. No one person or one group of people have the ultimate power to bring about change. Only we have that. It was never part of the system that we sit by passively waiting for others to make our lives better. We must do the work and vote for those who can remove obstacles to our success and create a more just and fair society. The new administration will make changes, some of which will work out for the better, some that will have unintended consequences. That's fine. We are here to continue the walk. knowing full well that the walk is designed to provide places for us to trip and fall. But we will get up and keep walking toward the light. Our work here is not done. It is never done. You are here to learn and grow up until you draw your last breath and move to your next school. And even then you aren't done learning and growing. I realize I've made this sound super exhausting. That may be. That's why we have to purposefully build in the breaks for laughter and love and appreciation for this school and everything it contains. The process of learning and growing feels wonderful. There's nothing better than the feeling of peace that comes with a deeper understanding, a wider vision, and knowing that your journey will be completed no matter how many lifetimes it takes, can take some of the pressure off. You will learn it all. You will get to the highest levels. That is guaranteed. You, as a member of this school, are an eternal soul. You have connections to other souls that transcend time and space. You are cheered on and cared about by others who have left this school, along with those who have not yet arrived. You have guides who whisper in your ear. You have the eternal connection to the Creator through the powerful tool of intuition. All of that assistance allows you to be the active creator of your experience through the choices you make. You are not subject to the whims of the Creator. You are an active participant in the system, which is designed for your growth. You were given free will to accomplish your goals. You are to use that gift to be proactive. You are not here to simply react to what others do. You are here to choose the path that will facilitate your growth. Part of your responsibility is to be an active member in our democracy, to do the work of knowing who should represent you, to do the work of keeping track of whether those who represent you are doing the job you afforded them, and that they have not lost their inevitable battle with the 7 deadly sins. Your job is to strip people of their toxic belief in status and the protections they think that grants them. You need to know that every single organization of people has and will evermore be corrupted because of these human frailties, because every organization of people is made up of weak, flawed humans. Our job is to love everyone enough to hold them accountable. We must hold everyone's feet to the fire. That is an act of love. To allow them to drift off into the darkness because we once supported them is extremely unloving. The Creator is not here to overturn an election that reflects the current level of the collective culture. The Creator is not here to undo the mistakes we have made. That is our job. That is our rich, ripe path to growth. Thanks for listening to Rebirth Revolution. I hope your world is getting a bit brighter, though we still have a long way to go. That's fine. We'll get there together. Until next week, watch your favorite movies. Eat your favorite foods. Enjoy the silence of winter. And wear your mask. Remember, You are loved exactly as much as every other person on the planet, not 1 ounce more or 1 ounce less. Stay strong and safe and in love with life.